workers, from fast food workers to security guards, don't just sit behind desks. Yet most human resource systems and employee benefits are still designed for those who do. South African startup Jem HR is calling on HR and finance leaders to rethink benefit accessibilities and design systems with real working conditions of the people who form the backbone of their businesses in mind. Specifically, this means maybe using their mobile phones to create easier access to channels, communications channels, but also administrative platforms. Employers need to meet their employees where they are on their mobile phones. Company update, leave forms, and other critical communications could be as easily accessed via WhatsApp as they are via your intranet. We talked to Simon Ellis, who is co-founder and CEO of Jem HR. Simon, thank you for joining us here on Channel Africa.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about this because there are many jobs, as we highlighted, that are not on premise kind of jobs. Some people are disseminated in different parts because it's a hands-on type of job, right? But sometimes we don't really consolidate in how we structure our businesses.
Well, actually, it's not many jobs. It's 75% of the workforce. 75% of South Africans don't sit behind a desk. They are really the people that keep the economy going. And it's those 75% of people that I think we need to make sure that we're building systems that work for. If you think of a factory worker, a mine worker, a cleaner, a security guard, they're out there every day and they're not downloading company apps and they're not using email. That means if we want to get real benefits to them, we've got to meet them where they are. Yes, they have a mobile phone, but do they have the application on the mobile phone that your benefits are delivered through? We find that giving benefits to frontline or deskless employees has to be done on WhatsApp if you want to work.
Yeah, I love the fact that you bring it down to even WhatsApp. Let's talk a little bit about the practicalities of that kind of communication, because WhatsApp is easy to access, but also it is also a great platform to actually start different formats of communications via groups, via work systems, but also that one-on-one communication. So it could be a great a platform for easy communication for these kind of workers we're talking about.
It is a great platform, but I think for a lot of people listening here, people might wonder, how ubiquitous is WhatsApp? WhatsApp is used by 97% of South Africans. I would have a bet that everyone who's listening to this has used WhatsApp today, but have they used a company app or an ESS app, or have they used their email today? Perhaps not. If you think of the experience of flying with SAFair, where when you do fly, you get your boarding pass on WhatsApp. The reason why you get your boarding pass on WhatsApp, because SAFair have realized that is where you are. They're meeting where you are. They're making it easy for you to access important information. At Jem, we're trying to do the exact same thing. We're making it easy for deskless or frontline employees to access the important things that enable them to do their jobs properly, whether that's a payslip, a leave form, a company benefit, or critical communication. We need to make sure that we are meeting people where they are on a device or an app that they already use.
Simon, what are some of the barriers and complications of current HR systems when we see that the majority of workers are actually not in-office workers? How does that actually create the barrier between the company and the worker?
Most of the HR systems out there have been designed with me and you in mind, people who sit behind a desk all day. And that means they are designed, the technology itself is fantastic, but the way the technology disseminates information to the individuals is typically done via email or via an app. And if you're on the front line, you're not downloading Sage's new app to get your payslip or to get access to company benefits. And that's where the issue comes in. So if there is no way for you to get access to those things because you don't use company emails or the apps are simply too expensive, there's no way for you to do it. And that means companies are left printing things out or using notice boards or sort of trickle down communication to get the benefits to their employees.
Hmm. But someone else would be saying, okay, that's going to actually create more work for my administrator because it's not like that particular platform is an internal centralized system. How do you deal with that conundrum?
So just like we have an email address is associated, you can have a personal email address and you can have a business email address. With WhatsApp, we have a business channel. So we have a Jem HR channel, but businesses can also white label a channel. So for example, if you are KFC,
So
you
what's
can have a
what's
KFC
white
channel.
leveling a channel? Can you explain that?
So as a business, and I'll just use KFC as a great example, if KFC's got 1,000 employees and they want to get information about information to and from their employees, they can actually create a WhatsApp chatbot that has got a KFC logo on it and enables employees to essentially deal with a KFC email address, but it's a KFC WhatsApp line. And that enables employers to deliver information to their employees via a dedicated WhatsApp line instead of having to use, for example, a dedicated email address.
Okay, that's interesting. So you can continue explaining how to deal with that conundrum of making sure that things are centralized for the administrators who are getting all this, paper trail via digital platforms like WhatsApp. How do they actually consolidate all that information that they're getting? Because that could make them actually do more work. Maybe it's actually taking the responsibility away from the worker and giving it to the administrator. How do you make that a little bit easier?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what Jem does is not try to replace your existing HR system. We just try and make your existing HR system better. And I'll use Sage as a great example. Probably 70% of South Africa's workforce uses Sage. It's the biggest HR system out there, and they're serving 6 or 7 million people every single month. Sage do not have a dedicated WhatsApp channel. That's no channel for employees to engage with Sage to get access to benefits or company communications or payslips or leave, as an example. But they do have an app and they do have email. The problem is most employees don't use an app or don't use email. So how do you then get the information that Sage creates, for example, a payslip, to the employees who don't have an app or don't have email? And that's where WhatsApp comes in. So Jem integrates with existing HR systems to take the information that you have on that system and deliver it to employees. And we use the most ubiquitous communication method out there, WhatsApp, to do that. Setup is really simple. It takes a couple of days, and we can get you and your employers signed up really quickly. Maybe if I could frame the question back to you, live on air, how do you currently get your payslip? How do you currently request leave? Is it on email? Is it on an app? And how difficult is it for you to actually do that today?
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. It is when I have to file my invoice, it takes me like a whole long time. I wish there was a system that easy that would kind of streamline that particular process. We'll talk a little bit more about this one. I think it is something that could work for multiple platforms. Stay there on the line. We're speaking to our guest, Simon Ellis, co-founder and CEO of Jem HR. How do you make things better, especially for those who have off-premise jobs and they still have to do their administrations, but maybe the best way is for them to do it off-site? We speak about that process with Jem HR and some of the ways that they're doing to remove those administrative barriers. It's 20 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. Do stay with us.
On the Move, weekdays, 9 a.m. to midday. Only on Channel Africa. #On the Move.
We're chatting to Simon Ellis, co-founder and CEO of Jem HR, about the need for HR and finance leaders to remove administrative barriers and make benefits available via channels that their employees can actually easily access and use. Well, Simon, there's a huge issue here that I'm sure these, different companies and departments, especially HR systems, will come back for, and that is safety, right? Systems like, WhatsApp is amazing, but there are maybe safety concerns that they may have. Might be easier for their out-of-office employees to use, but is it really safe? I mean, this is very personal information that can be shared through these channels.
You're absolutely spot on. And WhatsApp has this wonderful perception that it's not safe. WhatsApp is fully encrypted. WhatsApp is no different to an app. If you can log on to someone's phone and get access to their WhatsApp, you've somehow passed the first level of authentication. But there is also another authentication layer within WhatsApp. You can set passwords to get access to your WhatsApp. And when Jem delivers critical information to you via WhatsApp, we can password protect that information, just like you would password protect going into your banking app. So it's actually no different to any other app out there. There is just a perception that it is different. We now serve 150,000 employees, and we've never had an issue with security. We've never had any issues with other people accessing private information.
All right. Well, another thing, because it's important to play devil's advocate a little bit because, these systems have been in place for a very long time. And I'm sure it could also be costly for these systems to change. In any work environment, even if the majority of the workers work out of office, there will be people who work in office. If you go to KFC, as you used as an example, the people who are serving you are not in office, they're at the restaurants. But to get that business running, there's a lot of departments that run in office. Should we be having different systems for different departments and purposes?
No, absolutely not. I think everyone should operate on the same system. However, our system has been primarily designed for the deskless workforce. In the case the example you used, which is a great example, I would advocate that the employees who per se work at the head office would also want their payslip on WhatsApp, would also want their leave applications on WhatsApp, and would also want access to their company benefits or their wellness offerings on WhatsApp. It's the most accessible channel out there. It's the easiest way for employers to deliver critical information to their employees. Do I want my payslip on WhatsApp? Do I want my leave request on WhatsApp? Absolutely. But does a deskless worker who's currently doing it on a piece of paper or who has to do it through a manual method of asking his manager want it on WhatsApp? I have absolutely no doubt.
So what are the benefits? Because essentially when you introduce something new, both the company and the workers themselves are like, well, what's in it for me? What is it in it for the company to change their systems to be more accessible for the workers?
So the first thing is there's significant cost savings. Let me put you in the minds of an employer with 1,000 employees. On average, if you're managing 1,000 employees and you haven't got access to a WhatsApp-based system, you're likely printing up to 9 pieces of paper per employee per month. And that's everything from onboarding to offboarding, pay slips and leave to managing benefits. If Jem is introduced, we can reduce that 9 pieces of paper per employee down to 1 or 2 pieces of paper per employee. We haven't digitized everything yet, but we have digitized a majority of the HR processes required to connect you with your employer. That means that there are significant cost savings on the employer side. On the employee side, again, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a customer. Put yourself in the shoes of a security guard who at the end of the month really wants access to his payslip, but to do so needs to wait in a line 3 or 4 days after payday to get a piece of paper that is his payslip. And when he gets that piece of paper and recognizes that last week Wednesday he's been underpaid for the 2 hours he worked overtime, he has to manually fill in a query, which then gets couriered to head office, only then to be returned 10 days later. Jem does that all on WhatsApp. So we are creating an accessible way to give employees access to better HR and so empowering them to do their work better.
Well, it certainly sounds good, Simon, and it sounds like something that would benefit many, many companies and many industries as well. Where can we go to find out more about Jem HR?
JemHR.com. Find us there on the website or follow us on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much for your time, Simon. Really interesting and intriguing information there. That's Simon Ellis, co-founder and CEO of Jem HR, speaking about their systems and the need for HR and finance leaders to remove administrative barriers and make benefits more available to the everyday out-of-office African worker. It's 10:27 Central Africa time. Let's take a break before we head on over to our news break.
Channel Africa and you have got something in common. The thirst for knowledge.
All right, it's quite interesting that, Jem HR has these new systems. New things are frightening. And that's the thing, right? Because the perception of these new systems is that it's going to be costly. I'm going to have to change my entire system that's worked for many, many years. And they'd have this new system in place that might benefit the workers, but might not benefit me as the employee. But as we heard from Simon, it actually will be cost saving in the long run. So it's not something to think about in the short term, but something more in the long run. Would this benefit you if you are a worker on the African continent? Do you think, this is exactly what I think should have been done all this time, especially if you're someone that we mentioned here, someone who doesn't work in the office? Maybe you're an artisan, maybe you're a cleaner, maybe you're a security guard, maybe you work at a fast food restaurant, like the examples that we've used, and you found it quite hard to actually access some of your HR systems in the current systems.
Imagine just sending your invoice via WhatsApp. Hey, Mariki, that's our administrator. We love her a lot here at Channel Africa.
Hey, Mariki.
Hey, here's my invoice. Send.
Yeah, and you're done.
Done.
Just 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
And you don't even have to go to the office. You can literally be where you are, where you work, or maybe even at home on the weekend. Absolutely.
So innovation is definitely there, and we just need to adapt our workplaces to it. Do you think that's the best way to do it? Maybe you are an entrepreneur or someone who is working in business and leading a team. Do you think that would be the best way to deal with your off-premise team? Give us your thoughts on that innovation. +2763 406 9126. +2763 406 9126. So you can text us or voice note us there. We'd really love to hear from you. Hey,